Hello, everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on December 28th, 2015. This is the last Raw of 2015, and I'm probably not even going to do this for too long today because it was not a good Raw in every way, shape, or form. It started off okay. It ended pretty darn well. But that whole middle section lost everybody. Like, they almost did nothing with that portion of Monday Night Raw. Let's go off with the beginning. The whole Vince McMahon getting arrested angle. First of all, I liked how the cops did that at the beginning of the show. They said, we're not here to be your special police force. We're here to be just extra security thing, where they were trying to get Roman Reigns arrested and everything. So, okay, kudos for them going outside the box with that. I like that. And then having Vince eventually, putting his hands on an officer, getting arrested for assaulting an officer was pretty good. That was a very cheesy line that they tried putting in there when they were trying to read the Miranda rights, where it's like, you have the right to attorney. Oh, wait, that doesn't apply to you. Moment. Cheesy, little funny, but didn't come off all that well. The mugshot, okay, Vince. You know how Vince is. He's going to do everything over the top and has to do everything crazy. So he was going to do some weird kind of face for his mugshot. Okay with that. What they did at the end of the show as well, I'll get into that in a moment as well. But overall, that portion of the show, pretty darn good. The bit with Neville versus Kevin Owens, I actually liked. I like the aspect of, him wanting Kevin Owens wanting to fight Neville because of him winning Breakout Superstar of the Year, and the aspect of the short match and the beatdown afterwards. It wouldn't have meant much of anything if the beatdown didn't happen of Neville. And I like the aspect that they brought it back from commercial break and they continued on with it. Those little aspects there, I definitely did like. And then bringing out Dean Ambrose in there as well to continue on with what they were going with Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens was a pretty good way of going. Maybe they're setting up a triple threat. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but that, again, was a pretty good portion of Raw. And then the subsequent beatdown of Dean Ambrose by Kevin Owens after the match with the Usos and Dean against the League of Nations was also a really good way of going in there. That match itself was, that six-man tag with that one there, was overall relatively boring match. And it was kind of saved by the aspect that Sheamus, Rusev, and Barrett were mocking the fans doing the wave during the match. Good way of trying to bring it back a little bit in there. I applaud them for trying to bring it back and mocking the fans, and they continue doing it after the match. So good way of going. It even got some people into it as well, which is it's actually kind of hilarious that they were able to pull that off in some way, because that was an overall very boring segment of the show. Another one, and this was not boring when they did this match in NXT, which was Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. But here, I don't know if it was just the aspect of them messing up moves or things like this, but that, like the promo by Becky Lynch setting things up, going in there, into the match itself, onto the whole match. Like, the match itself, they gave it plenty of time to build. It didn't really work all that well, but the kind of facial expressions and how things, like how it ending with Team Bad actually interfering and causing Becky Lynch the match was a good way of going. Also, that kind of can build a little bit of tension with making it think is like, okay, maybe Becky Lynch can't do this on her own. Maybe she'll have to turn some kind of heel tactic, or she's gonna be one of those people that kind of stays her course and then eventually has a match with Charlotte. We'll see where they go with that. But overall, like, that match was not nearly as good as the one that they did at NXT TakeOver earlier in the year, by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, it just felt like they got a little bit lost out there at some point in time during that match, and it just did not come off all that well. The other things that just really seemed weird throughout the night. First of all, they had nothing with the Wyatt family, nothing with the Dudley Boys. They really did nothing with these guys at all. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be feuding with each other anymore, unless they're going to continue on with that. But they did nothing with them at all. And honestly, those guys are pretty much some of the more over people. Why aren't you using them in some way? The New Day segment wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think it got saved. Well, first of all, their promo was phenomenal and everything in that aspect. That portion's always been good with the New Day. The match with Kalisto and Kofi Kingston wasn't all that great. I like the aspect that they made another match out there with Big E and Sin Cara. Looked like Sin Cara got himself legitimately injured with a dislocated shoulder. We don't know if that was just a work or if he actually did get hurt. It looked like he was. He was kind of holding his arm for the rest of the match. Otherwise, that would have been. Otherwise, that's great selling on his part, and I hope if that's just a worked injury that he can keep up that kind of selling. If not, get well soon on that side. But otherwise, really good match. And if Sin Cara was hurt throughout that entire thing, he did a great job getting everything going with that match and making it still feel like it flowed pretty well in some way. Like I said, I hope he didn't. If he did get himself injured, which it looked like he did, I hope he didn't further that injury by continuing on with it. But overall, good match between him and Big E. And we'll see if this is going to hinder anything that they're going to do with the Lucha Dragons and New Day. Obviously, it will if he did dislocate a shoulder, because that's going to keep him out for a good chunk of time somewhere down the road. Another segment in here, and I don't know why they did this, other than the fact that they wanted to announce that Big Show was going to be in the Royal Rumble. And I liked Big Show's promo when he did it. But the whole aspect of Miz coming out to do Miz TV, to do a year in retrospect of everything Miz, that he did nothing, basically. And just getting it, he got interrupted by Ryback, Goldust, let's see here, who else was in there? R-Truth was in there, Heath Slater, and then Big Show afterwards. And this segment pretty much did nothing outside the aspect of, well, announcing that Big Show was going to be a part of the Royal Rumble, and it made an impromptu match with him and Ryback. And Big Show walked out of that match. So nothing really happened there. In there, a couple good funny spots in there, especially with R-Truth. I liked Heath Slater's stuff as well. Wish they could use him more, but he's not really that crazy. He's over with people, but he's not like that kind of talent that you would expect to be pushed to the top. So we'll see if they decide to ever do anything with him. But like Goldust was kind of filler. The little comedy spots that R-Truth did were okay. I like the aspect that he just tried to knock himself out with the Big Show knockout punch. That was actually kind of funny a little bit. But overall, that segment was a bust. Was not good in any way, shape, or form. And they ended the night with John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. Great promo by the two of them, setting up everything, and Cena trying to get him to put the U.S. title on the line, eventually getting him to do that. The match between the two of them was really good. A typical finish that you would have expected, with League of Nations eventually causing the disqualification and gaining the advantage until Roman Reigns came out. And overall, I like where they're going with Roman Reigns. He doesn't talk as much anymore, which is a good thing. It is a good thing in that sense, that he's not talking all that much. He just comes out there and beats everybody down, which is what he needs to do. He needs to be the badass, and that's what he's been the past so many weeks. So they've been doing a good job with Roman Reigns. And like I said, I felt they ended strong. The whole aspect of, they were doing segments throughout the whole night with Vince being arrested. You saw the mugshot. You have Renee Young down at the precinct, or down at a building that they assumed was the precinct, trying to get information. I like the interaction with Renee Young between Stephanie and Vince. Vince is like, just get that out of my face. Just trying to get himself out of there, and then Vince showing back up and setting the match up for the next week with Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. You figure the rematch is happening, and it's going to happen before the Royal Rumble, so they could set up something different for Roman Reigns at the Rumble. So we'll see where they go with that, because you would assume that they will keep Roman Reigns with the title next week, and he will go over Sheamus in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully, it's not some kind of DQ thing that causes Sheamus to get into get another match at the Rumble. Hopefully, they have something different planned for Reigns and the title going into the Royal Rumble and into WrestleMania time. So we'll see where they go with everything. But like I said, that middle section of Raw, just no, it was bad. It was bad. Like I said, they had a pretty good start, a pretty good end, but that middle section was really, really bad this week. And hopefully things get a little bit better than for the next week and leading on to the Rumble time. I kind of gave the Slammies a pass on the aspect of, well, I did get to see it, and it's the Slammies, so you don't expect much of anything to happen on the Slammies. You just don't. You really don't. It's just the obligatory, this is the 3-hour Raw. Oh, well, wait, all Raws are 3 hours now, but this is the obligatory Slammy show. Nothing's gonna happen on this show. At least they saved it for the holiday week this year, instead of doing it like the week before the Rumble or something like that, or the week before TLC, before one of the pay-per-views. So at least they did it in that sense. But hopefully next week will be better, and we'll see where everything goes. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.